Hello everyone, this is part 41 of What If Naruto Had Two Bloodlines, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. It was a melee of people and weapons. Someone set off an explosive and a thick black cloud smoke filled the area. In all of the commotion, some of the ninjas were separated from the others. The Hyugas, minus Hinata, had managed to stick together. Kakashi and Kurenai as well. As did the others. The only ones that were on their own were Hinata, Yuki, and Naruto was standing alone in a clearing when he heard a rustling in the nearby bushes. From them emerged two shadowy figures. Naruto, oh it's you, I guess it only makes sense for you two to find me. Elsewhere Sasuke, Sakura, Shino, and Kiba, plus Akamaru, found themselves in the company of others as well. Well, there are some mighty interesting and tasty looking fellows down there, I especially want you, the strange woman said while pointing at Sasuke. You look like you have some great blood running through your veins, licking her ruby red lips. Kiba, just who are you guys anyway? Shino, are you friend or foe? It seems that the two of you have nice blood running through your veins as well. I'm Ayane, I'll be the one that gives you a pleasant end. Sakura was appalled, and angry. There was no way she would let some freak like her get a hold of her Sasuke. Sakura, hey, why don't you cut that out and leave now before we have to hurt you? You freak. Ayane, stay out of this. No one was talking to you, you unsightly walking stick. Sakura, unsightly, walking stick. Cracks her knuckles and grinds her teeth. Ayane, you'll be nothing but a pest that's in the way. As a matter of fact, why don't you just run off and s alone in the woods? I don't mind the occasional girl, but I doubt you'd even make a decent snack. Sakura couldn't take any more. First these two weird girls showed up out of nowhere, and now one was insulting her. It was bad enough that she was disrespecting her, but she also targeted Sasuke. She was well beyond pissed. The one doing all the insulting had introduced herself as Ayane. She had short black hair, wore red lipstick, and a red band around her head. She wore a short black sleeveless dress with red designs that looked like water or blood dripping down over her body. She also had a red obi belt around her waist that drd down behind her and wore black shoes. The other young woman had brown skin like the other. She wore her golden blonde colored hair up like a crown on her head with a red band holding the end of her hair up and a group of white feathers hanging from the sides of her hair. She wore an all-black short dress with nothing across the upper half of her back. On her dress were white patterns that resembled feathers, as did her black shoes. On her left hand she wore a single black glove, a black bracker on her right forearm, and she had a bow and arrows drd across her back. From the looks of it, this one was an archer. Kiba, you guys noticed right. Sasuke, yeah. Shino, the one with the bow arrows must be the type to use ranged attacks. Ayane, oh, did I hear you correctly? So you figured out my friend's style of fighting, have you? Looks down at the surprised leaf ninja, then back at her friend. Kiba, how did she hear us? I could have sworn that we were talking low enough that they wouldn't hear a thing. Ayane, why don't you sit this one out, Yumi? As a matter of fact, why don't you go make sure those two sisters don't foul things up? She complied and began to change. Black markings began to envelop her face like a helmet. She also sprouted wings and began to fly away, leaving the leaf shinobi to her partner. Sakura, she's flying away. Shino, they must be of the Beast Warriors clan like Naruto, but they're probably different from him as well. The question is, what are they and what are their weaknesses? Naruto, I'm glad that you guys are here. I was getting a little lonely being all by myself. Ryubi, so you're happy to see us. Naruto, of course, I'm glad to see any familiar faces at this point. Ryubi, sad tone, oh. Naruto, what are you and your sister doing out here anyway? I thought you stayed in the village. Ryubi plus Ruari, yeah, well. Naruto, does this mean that you decided to come with us to our village? Ryuri, about that. Before she could finish there was an explosion in another area of the forest. Naruto, what was that? He tried to run in the direction of the explosion but was immediately stopped by Ryubi and Ryuri, who tried to drag him away from it. Naruto, wait. What are you doing? We're going the wrong way. Ryuri, no we're not, we're heading away from the danger. Naruto, but the others could be in trouble. They may need our help. Ryubi, they seem to be the bright bunch, so I'm sure that they have the same idea we do, still dragging Naruto further into the forest. Kurenai and Kakashi had finished off the last of the bandits in their area but were having trouble with the mastermind, Connell. Kakashi, this guy is pretty tough. Kurenai, yeah, I guess it's a good thing I decided to join in. Kakashi, yeah, he's been going all out from the start, I haven't even had the time to lift my headband. Kurenai, I'll cover you, I'll keep him distracted just long enough for you to take advantage. She and Kakashi stood up and confronted their opponent. Connell took one step and Kakashi ran deeper into the forest while Kurenai charged with a kunai in hand. Connell quickly took out a kunai of his own along with a few shuriken. He quickly threw some of the shuriken at Kurenai, who deflected many of them but knocked some in Kakashi's direction while she was distracted. Kakashi noticed the projectiles in time to jump behind a band of trees for protection. Upset that he missed his target, Connell turned his attention to Kurenai. Connell, what is this? What are you two planning? Kurenai, that's for us to know, and for you to find out. Connell, oh, a distraction is it? It won't work now if that's what you were thinking. Kurenai, we'll see about that. She charged him again, and after a brief clash of steel on steel and thrown punches and kicks, Connell got a hold of Kurenai, overpowered her, and tossed her into the trunk of a tree. Blood spewed from her mouth from the force of the impact. Connell, hey, and you thought that your plan would work. Just then, even though I was looking out for some kind of sneak attack, you weren't much in the way of keeping me preoccupied, walking towards her fallen frame. Suddenly, two kunais flew towards him. He quickly jumped back as they were embedded into the ground. From the treetops emerged Kakashi as he jumped between the two. Connell, so you finally decided to make your move, but wait, what's with your eye? Before he knew it, Kakashi had charged and was now in his face, staring him down. Kakashi, here, why don't you take a closer look? Tomo on Sharingan begins spinning. Connell quickly closed his eyes and jumped back and away from Kakashi. He had been watching Kakashi's eye from the moment he noticed the color, and when he was close enough he could quickly tell what it was. Connell, I see, the Sharingan, the sly ninja tool of the Uchiha clan, but I had heard that they were all but wiped out. That either makes you a survivor, the one responsible, or Kakashi of the Sharingan. Kakashi, so you know of me, well, I'm flattered. Connell, likewise, if defeating you doesn't gain me some recognition, then I don't know what will. Charging at Kakashi. Kakashi ducked the first swing and tried to jam his kunai up through Connell's jaw. Connell responded quickly by knocking Kakashi's arm away with his and threw a left hook which connected. Kakashi stumbled around and saw Connell charging from his Sharingan eye. Kakashi quickly sidestepped Connell's thrust and espied his kunai into his abdomen. Unfazed, Connell began to morph as he grabbed Kakashi's arm. He began pounding him with close-ranged punches and kicks. To finish things after his flurry of shots, Connell released Kakashi's arm to S him with his kunai. Kakashi took this opportunity to put some distance between him and Connell. Kakashi could feel the effects of the beating beginning already. Blood began to trickle from a cut above his right eye and he could feel his parts face slowly swelling. He also had a hard time catching his breath as he could feel sharp pains in his chest and his abdomen was still sore from a blow that landed in his breadbasket. Kakashi looked at his opponent in hopes of finding some weak point he could exploit. He noticed dog-like ears sticking up from Connell's head. His former gray hair had turned entirely black and his blue eyes were now a golden yellow. He also had two sharp fangs protruding from his mouth and claws that looked like they could S through steel. Kakashi also noticed Connell's big fluffy, black tail. Kakashi, so he's similar to Naruto, I wonder if he still has that weakness or if he's improved himself, sizing up his opponent. In this form he's going to be even tougher. If I can't apply enough pressure, he could S me to shreds, and because I targeted his tail, he may just S those shreds to shreds and probably eat the remains just to prove a point. Sizing up his opponent one last time, it's either that or I try everything I can just to try and stall until reinforcements arrive. Connell looked at the calculating Kakashi and bared his sharp fangs in an eerie smile. Kakashi, well, here goes everything. Sakura yanked a tree stump from the earth and hurled it at Ayane, who easily avoided it by flying out of its path. As she fluttered in the air, the leaf shinobi could tell that they had their work cut out for them. Ayane's current form was similar to a bat's. She had big pointy ears sticking up from her head, glowing red eyes, sharp teeth, a stubby tail, clawed bat-like feet, and the skin under her arms had formed wings like a bat's. Ayane, I can smell it. I can't wait to taste your sweet nectar. Sakura plus Kiba, sweet nectar. Ayane, how should I go about it? Should I cut you to pieces and drink from them? Should I simply kill you and drink from your corpses as they lay in a beautiful, everlasting slumber? Or, I know, I'll disable you and suck you dry as you lay there screaming for sweet release. Licking her lips. Sasuke, as if we'd give you the chance, we'll see to it that we defeat you and find the others, taking out a kunai, shuriken, and wire. Ayane, that's it. That's why I want you the most. I'll enjoy you all the more after you watch as I gruesomely kill your friends. Sakura, I won't let that happen. If you want Sasuke, you're gonna have to go through me first. Pulling out a kunai. Ayane, that's the whole idea. She quickly dropped from the sky and in one flap of her wings she zoomed at Sakura. The boys tried to put a stop to her as she focused on Sakura. Kiba and Akamaru attacked as she flew by with the fang over fang attack. Using her skills to her advantage, Ayane rolled over on her back just inches above the ground and grabbed the two with her feet. She rolled back over and began dragging him across the ground before tossing him at Shino after a barrel roll. Before his teammates crashed into him, Shino released some of his bugs to attack Ayane. Ayane, wing blade. In one flap of her wings, Ayane projected a pair of winged blades that cut down all of Shino's bugs and barely missed him, Kiba, and Akamaru. Ayane bypassed them and was now on her way towards Sakura. Sasuke quickly jumped out in front of Sakura and hurled some shuriken in Ayane's direction. Once again she flapped her wings and her wind attack barely missed Sasuke and Sakura, but they left some tears and cuts to their clothes and boss. Ayane quickly advanced and grabbed Sasuke with her feet and slammed him to a nearby tree, pinning him. Ayane, haha, looks like the perfect time for a little snack, opening her mouth and approaching Sasuke-sen. As she prepared to take a bite, she was stopped by a sharp pain in her butt. She screamed in pain and turned to see that Sakura had thrown a kunai. Sakura, I told you, you have to go through me first. Pulling out another kunai. Ayane was seething. She released Sasuke who plummeted to the ground below. Ayane pulled the kunai out and flew at Sakura. She avoided a few shurikens thrown at her with her aerobatics and quickly swooped up Sakura with her feet. She flew higher and higher as Sakura screamed for help. She would have continued to climb if she didn't feel a sharp pain in her right leg. Ayane looked down to see that Sakura had jammed her kunai into the back of her calf, numbing her leg from there down. Losing control of her leg, Ayane's right foot released its grasp on the pink-haired kunoiki. Pissed, Ayane decided that she wasn't even worth the trouble and released Sakura with her left foot as well. Sasuke and the others looked into the sky to see the pink-haired kunoiki hanging onto Ayane's leg for dear life and screaming for help. Ayane did all she could to shake her loose, all kinds of aerial tricks, but got nothing but a loosened GS. Realizing that she could fall to her death at any moment, Sakura reached up to better her GS. Suddenly, the boys could see that the girls were streaking from the sky. Kiba, what is she doing? Sasuke, is she really going to crash into the ground just to get rid of Sakura? Shino, no, I don't think that's the case. She was flying and just stopped. She looks as if she's gone completely limp. The two streaked to the earth. Ayane, let go. Screaming for her life and feeling it better than going down with the ship, Sakura released her grip on Ayane's tail. She crashed through the treetops for a few seconds and was now on a collision course with the ground. In the nick of time, Shino's bugs caught her before she crashed. The boys watched to see if Ayane would meet the very fate that Sakura was lucky enough to avoid, but it wasn't so. At the very last second, Ayane regained her composure and glided through the air just inches above the ground. The boys were shocked to see this as they were sure that she had no chance of recovering in time. Ayane, damn that stupid little pink-haired bee. I'll K her for that. The boys rushed to check on Sakura's condition. Kiba, looks like she's out cold. Shino, She must have hit her head pretty hard on the branches on her way down. In the distance, Ayane flew into the area and posted herself on a tree branch. Ayane, haha, so I see that the little bee is out of the way, that's good, now I can get right to the main course. By the time she wakes up, you'll all be S and she'll be mine to tea until I can't tea her anymore. The boys stood up and faced their opponent. In different parts of the forest, both Yuki and Hinata were running around frantically searching for any signs of the others, mainly Naruto. They could hear the explosions and could imagine the destruction being caused. For now, the only thing they could do was hope that everyone, especially Naruto, wasn't involved. Naruto, Ryubi, just where are you taking me? Ryubi, somewhere safe for the moment, stopping in front of a cave. Ryuri, come on, let's go in, heading inside. Naruto followed the sisters into the dark cave, but he still didn't understand why. Why would they lead him to somewhere that's safe but neglect to help the others? Ryuri, we're here, lighting a lantern. With the addition of light, Naruto could see that the cave appeared to be lived in. All around were scattered clothes and other materials. Ryubi, and Naruto. Naruto, looking up. Ryuri, let's have some fun. Naruto, fun. We don't have time for fun. We have to find my friends and make sure they're safe. Ryubi, you've got it all wrong, sitting down on the ground. Ryuri, we don't mean fun, sitting beside her sister, we mean fun. Naruto looked as confused as ever. What exactly did they mean? What kind of fun did they have in mind? Seeing that he was taking forever to figure out what they meant, Ryuri and Ryubi patted the ground and told Naruto to take a seat between them. Naruto looked at the spot and noticed that the two were sitting on something. From the looks of it, it was some kind of bedding, a bunch of pillows and covers. Naruto, looking intensely at the girls and the bedding, this is no time for a nap. Ryubi and Ryuri nearly collapsed in disbelief. Was this guy really this dense? Ryubi, you're kidding, right? Naruto looked at her questioningly. Ryuri, we don't intend on taking a nap. With what we have planned, you won't be allowed to nap for a while. Naruto, looking at the girls intensely, then, what are we doing? The girls were dumbfounded. There's no way he shouldn't have gotten the hint by now. He wasn't the brightest, but he was the best they could do. Ryubi, just watch and we'll show you, Ryuri. Ryuri grabbed her sister's hand and looked into her eyes. Right in front of Naruto they both leaned in and Naruto was in disbelief. He couldn't believe what he had seen, or thought he had seen. Just as they were inches away from each other's face, a strong gust of wind blew into the cave and extinguished their light. Ryubi had gotten up and grabbed another lantern. When she did, she could clearly see Naruto's expression. He looked as if he was shocked, which she expected, but he also looked to still be confused and now in a world of his own. Ryubi, Naruto. He snapped back to reality and looked at Ryubi and her sister. A slight blush ran across his face. Ryubi, is something wrong? Naruto, no, I think I must have been daydreaming or something. I thought I saw something unbelievable, probably from hanging around that pervy sage for so long. Ryuri, you liked it right. Naruto, liked what? Ryubi, the kiss. Naruto, the kiss, thinking. He thought of what exactly happened and recalled the shapes, the movements, and the sounds. Naruto, that really happened. Ryuri, of course, we'll be more than happy to show you again. Ryubi, or, if you like, you can take part this time, closing her eyes. She began blushing furiously as she fawned over the thought. Ryuri, sis. Ryubi, yes, eyes still closed. Ryuri, flatly, he's running away. Ryubi, that's nice, still lost in thought, wait, what? She opened her eyes and sure enough Naruto was gone. The two sisters quickly ran out of the cave to see Naruto still running. They gave chase, calling out to him in hopes that he would stop and at least give them a chance to explain. Ryuri, Naruto, wait, hear us out. Ryubi, we need you. Naruto, I'd love to help but, I'm too young to do something like that. Still running through the forest. Ryubi, you don't need to run away. We can take it one step at a time. End of chapter. The group is separated and a few of them end up in an uncomfortable situations. Battles break out throughout the forest as the Leaf Shinobi fight to reunite. X. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.